Hello, Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Yona of the Dawn, Chapter 202. You might have noticed that this video is about 2.5 weeks late. I can explain. I basically just got really tired of Evil Twin scans. I find their dialogue to be just kind of odd and stilted and a little unnatural, and they're just very, very biased in their translation, and like openly so. So I decided to wait until the Little Miss and Good Sir version came out. I was not expecting that to take 2 weeks. I was expecting that to take more like 2 days, but I held in, and now here we are. So anyway, when we last left our heroes, Hak reported back to Jae-Ha what he had noticed about Suwon's illness. Jae-Ha said nothing because he already knows everything, I think. And then Hak encountered Hugh Lee, who was there to kill him for knowing the truth about Suwon. However, for reasons that are kind of not yet explained, he doesn't kill Hak, he just takes him captive, which allows Hak to get some information out of Kaisuk, and allows Yona to show up and threaten Kaisuk with, if you kill Hak, we will betray you. Me, the dragons, Yoon, all of us were out of here. And then Hak promises to fight on the front lines of the war with South Kai, and so Kaisuk kind of leaves them alone, and then they kiss. And that's where we left off, going into Chapter 202, A Poisonous Guest. And our picture here is of Yona. The only one to come near her lips is the one she does not want to lose. Aww. So yeah, let's jump right on in. We pick up where we left off, with the two of them separating, with Hak and Yona separating after their kiss. And they're still, like, holding hands. I like the distinction we see between Yona's, clean, in her royal guy's hands, and Hak bloodied up, beaten hands. Hak, let go of my hand. Why? Oh, come now. You're bleeding. And he, jerks his hand back. Sorry. Are you okay? You're covered in blood, even on your hands. I'm fine. Let me see. And then Hak just, backs away. Hold on. You're hurt really badly, right? Up close, even your hands are. And Hak just kind of, moves his hands around. I'm doing great. Quit waving your arms. Then Hak tells her, Princess, you should head back soon. Kaisuk and Hugh Lee are both keeping watch. Don't worry about me and go. Don't worry? Of course I'm going to worry. You're so hurt, and I don't want to go back. I want to be closer to you. And that moment of emotional honesty just stuns Hak. As she admits that. And there's this really long pause when you say that. It makes me want to destroy this cell and not let you go back. I could destroy it if I needed to, really. And Min-Soo is just, do not destroy the cell. Can I treat your wounds already? And so Min-Soo walks over and I guess is gonna treat him through the bars. But Min-Soo continues, not only will you worsen your wounds, you'll also be considered a dangerous criminal attempting to jailbreak, and then you really will be killed. Sir Hugh Lee is just outside. And Hak counters, I never said I would try to leave. Then Yona says, Hak, be careful around him. If someone orders him to, he'll kill without hesitation. I'll see if I can negotiate with Kaisuk to let you go free, so... Princess. And Hak looks at her. I'll take care of myself, one way or another. It's fine. But I said I would go out to the front lines of battle because I consider that my duty. So yeah, Yona then brings up this bit about if someone orders him to, he'll kill without hesitation. Which brings up what Hak kind of got at last time about why is he alive? Why did Hugh Lee not just kill him? And I don't really have an answer to that. We'll kind of have to wait and see. But last time Hak specifically says, it's not because of Suwon's orders, isn't it? As to why he's still alive, I mean. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get more answers later. I said I would go out to the front lines of battle because I consider that my duty. You needn't worry yourself. I'll win. I mean, yeah, he will. He is kind of the Thunder Beast and all. And now we see that Ao has jumped ship and gone back to Yona. But Yona just looks at him sadly, and then goes to leave. And outside, she encounters Hugh Lee. And she kind of stares him down. And she thinks, they're still on guard around Hak. Given that Kai-suk saw Uncle Yuhan be murdered by my father, maybe he's terrified of Hak aiming his blade at Suwon one day. Hak screamed before that he could never forgive Suwon, in a voice close to tears. But how he wants to deal with Suwon now, even I don't know. So yeah, she kind of brings up there is sort of a, like, does Hak plan on, as Kai-suk maybe fears, betraying Suwon and killing him? Or is he completely genuine that he's, just gonna fight for Koka? And like a lot of things in this arc, that remains to be seen. And so Yona turns away, even so. And we see that Hugh Lee is following her. And then Yona asks, hey, Hugh Lee, do you remember my mother, Kashi? A long time ago, you were the one to kill my mother under Uncle Yuhan's orders, weren't you? And Yuhan, to his credit, does not react to that. Even though we do know that he's not completely stone-faced. As Hak mentioned last time, he paled when Hak mentioned Suwon's condition. So maybe it's just either so long ago he doesn't care, or killing Kashi is such a minor thing that it didn't really matter to him, compared to, like, the king being ill. I don't know. Dressed as a bandit, you approached my mother's carriage while she headed to Suwon's mansion and killed her. And the reason you look at me with such intent to kill is because you failed to kill me with her back then. You too are obsessed with the phantom of Uncle Yuhan. I don't intend to say anything more regarding my mother. Maybe my words will mean nothing to you, but don't take Hak's life. I don't want to hate anymore. So here we're kind of seeing, I don't know, something I kind of been wondering lately is what exactly is the end goal of this series? Like, in a broad sense. Like, as they start to align more and more with Su, like, initially it was, clearly, retake the throne from Suwon, and that sort of changed as Suwon, we saw that Suwon wasn't that awful of a king, for the citizens at least. His foreign policy leaves much to be desired. But the kingdom seems to be a better place under his rule. And now we're straight up allying with him. And so I kind of don't see what the end goal is. But this statement of I don't want to hate anymore is kind of, now that Yona knows everything, now that she knows the history that got her to this point, she's, I don't know, it feels like her goal is to break the cycle of violence. And how she goes about that is anyone's guess. Especially with a war with South Kai right on the horizon. But we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, I don't want to hate anymore. And Hugh Lee just looks at her. And then we see Hak. With like half of his shirt off. We see just, covered in cuts and bleeding and scars. And Hak says, Min-Su, yes? Is his illness? Is it really? And then he pauses. Never mind. It's nothing. So Min-Su is being his physician, is the one who knows, right? The one who absolutely knows. Unless I'm completely forgetting something. But does Hak know that? Does Hak think that maybe Min-Su is still out of the loop and doesn't want to incriminate him here? I don't know. But Hak is just silent for a while, and then we come back to Kai-suk, who's talking to Suwon. Your Majesty, the Thunder Beast is currently being kept temporarily in the castle's prison. I would like to report to you the reason. And Suwon just stares. Yeah, and then that's kind of all we see of that. As we're now at what I'm assuming is Lantan's funeral. We see a bunch of soldiers carrying a coffin up the steps. We see Kai-suk and or no, that's not Kai-suk we see there on that top panel or middle panel on page 13. It's it was the long-haired minister who I mistook for Kai-suk from behind. Those are just all the Kai ministers, mourning their friend. And Yona looks around, and Judo asks Kai-suk, "Where is His Majesty? He will arrive shortly." That said, is there a need for such a Is there a need for such a lavish funeral service? The South Kai emissaries were quite overbearing in their demands, spouting commands of more offerings and priests. And then Judo turns to Hawk. There are no priests in this country. Who would we call for? I guess with Suwon on the throne, there isn't really much of a place for religious people, especially since Yuhan killed all the ones at the capital. Though I guess Iksu is still around. Anyway, I have made arrangements, and then we see the Kai guys dance, play music, bring out the alcohol. Rantan can't rest like this. So I guess the little mistranslation was Rantan. He was when he was alive, I was still using Evil Twin, which is Lantan. Anyway, what are they saying? And Kaisuk answers, evidently, South Kai funeral services have an air similar to festivals. How stupefyingly energetic they are. And Yona just thinks morosely, Rantan. And then we hear a sob. And it's one of the girls, it's this, have we met her before? A Kai woman who we might have seen with Rantan earlier. I don't quite remember her. She has some kind of like fox-looking thing on her shoulder that feels maybe like a counterpart to Ao. Rantan, you can't be dead. And Yona looks at her. Are you alright? And we see Ao, who's doing this kind of like blushing pose on Yona's shoulder. The woman looks up at her. Yes. And we see the guards murmuring around her. Oh, she's beautiful. And she responds, you must be Princess Yona. Yes. I'm a relative of Rantan. My name is Mei-Nyan. I came as an attendant to the emissaries. You're Rantan's... and Mei-Nyan doesn't really answer. I never even imagined something like this would happen. I'm still in shock. Could I trouble you to pray for my poor Rantan? Yes. And then she thinks, I thought everyone from South Kai would say that I killed Rantan, but... are there those who think otherwise? And Mei-Nyan calls her, Princess Yona, please, come this way. And then she grabs her. Fall to your knees and grovel before Rantan. Okay. She turned quick, didn't she? I dig that panel. It's a cool... I really like the sudden twist we see here. As she plays nice, and then all of a sudden just, snap, and she's intimidating. And Yona just kind of wide-eyed for a moment. Whoa. And Mei-Nyan gets in her face. You mustn't play dumb. You killed him, didn't you? If you kneel and beg, you will be forgiven. And then Mei-Nyan kind of straight up pushes her down. Normally, for poisoning someone, you would be brought before His Highness Chagol and ripped limb from limb. Prostrate yourself, in place of the king. Come now, kind princess. And Judo finally notices what's going on. Princess Yona! And Yona asks, who are you? You're certainly not Rantan's relative. In fact, you seem not to care whether or not I've killed him. You feel absolutely nothing towards him. And Mei-Nyan lifts up her hand as if she's going to slap Yona. How clever and impudent. No. And as Jae-ha, who has jumped in, is the one who dropped that no, grabs Mei-Nyan's hand. I won't let you bring down your hand. You there. And specifically, she sees his uncovered dragon hand. Or no, hold on. Right, not Dragon Hand is Kija, so Kija's also here. For a second there, I got really confused. And yeah, there is Kija, who is guarding Yona with this giant hand. If you intend to lay a hand on our master, then I hope that you are prepared to have yourself be torn limb from limb. Jae-ha, Kija, and Shina is also there. Not really doing much compared to Jae-ha and Kija, just holding his hand out. Get away from Yona. Shina. And then Zeno gets right between them and kind of pulls them apart. Sorry to interrupt your conversation, lasses. Zeno? Everyone! And she looks over at the dragons. And Kija, blushing and stammering. Princess, we have longed to see you. Why are you all here? Mr. Kaisuk asked us to act in place of priests. Oh yeah, that would work. given that they are kind of religious figures themselves. And the guards all watch. It's the dragons. The dragons have come out. The long-haired Kai minister, those are the dragons. And Judo turns over to Kai-suk. The dragons as replacements for priests? They would be more blessed than priests, would they not? And then we see Kai-suk's real reasoning. I had not originally intended to show the dragons to South Kai, but they will serve as a distraction from His Majesty's condition. And then we hear, I can't tell if these are the guards or if these are the Kai nobles. The dragons. So they really do serve Princess Yona. I'd heard they were monsters, but instead they're inhumanly beautiful. I'm assuming these are Kai, because the soldiers would have, the Koka soldiers would have seen them already. Were they chosen for their looks? Okay. Lady Mei-Nyan. She's frozen stiff, especially because they know Mei-Nyan's name, and she's Kai. And then, okay. So trying to figure out who was saying this master line, because it almost looked like it was coming from the animal, but it's Mei-Nyan remarking on the word master. Master. Do the dragons belong to Princess Yona then? Of course. And Yona stops him. Kija. And Mei-Nyan looks at them. Which one is the Thunder Beast? I've heard of the Thunder Beast from Koka. And J-Hop just laughs. He's not one of the dragons. Who does he belong to? And all four of them just stare at Yona. And Yona freezes. So the dragons and the Thunder Beast both belong to you, Princess Yona. For you to receive so much, even though you're not the king. And she gets right up in her face. How unfair. To be continued on February 5th. And that's where we leave off. With Mei-Nyan and Yona's confrontation kind of continuing into the next chapter, which is supposedly only 2 weeks away. We'll see how long it takes Little Miss for the next chapter to come out. But yeah, this is a really fun chapter. Building up the intrigue as we kind of start the war with Kai. Or start the proceedings that will lead to the war with Kai. We're getting there. But you know, diplomacy takes a while. We open with kind of a resolution to the last chapter. As the kiss ends, and Yona kind of frets over how injured Hak is. And Minsu eventually kind of takes over there. And mostly it just gets us a few more cute little HakYona moments. Particularly, you know, when Yona's all, I want to be closer to you, and Hak is like, alright, I'll just destroy the cell then. That's some good shit. That is some good shit. We then also get this Yuli scene. Which, like I kind of said during that part of the video, to me it kind of shows Yona's goal. What her intentions are from here on out. Explicitly, you know, ending the cycle of violence that led to Yuhan's death, that led to Ill's death, that led to everything that's happened over the past 200 chapters. She wants to end it. She wants to end the hate. How exactly she plans to go about doing that, I don't really know. Given that Suwon's days are definitively numbered, I kind of expect that maybe Yona will just, like, take the throne after Suwon is dead, and then, have the ability to rule from there, I guess. But anyway, then we get to what's kind of is the big, like, going forward, the big, the part that actually deals with Kai, Rantan's funeral, where we meet Mei-Nyan, who we still don't know a whole lot about. You know, she's first introduced as Rantan's relative, and Yona very quickly is like, that's not true. You feel nothing towards him. You know, which means there's a grander scheme here. Like her actions could initially, like, the false your knees and grovel could be read as like a grieving relative. But the fact that she's not a relative, the fact that she seemingly doesn't care about him at all, the question I'm wondering is, what exactly does she gain from taunting Yona like that? I don't know. She's very much a woman of mystery here. And she's also is just like, she has a new animal mascot, which a part of me is like, is she meant to be a counter to Yona in a thematic or a metatextual sense somehow? I'm not quite sure how that would be the case. Just because, again, we know very little about her. Unless she's, like, also a deposed princess who was turned around to help her usurper. Like, maybe she's a relative of Choggle? I forget actually exactly how the Kai... Because we learned a little bit about the Kai dynamics with, when we first met Rantan. Was Choggle the true emperor, or was he, like, South Kai's personal emperor? I forget which. Because if he's the true emperor, then maybe Rantan, or Mei-Nyan, was, like, part of Choggle's family that lived in the south, and then the southern emperor kind of took over, and now she's kind of stuck working with him. I don't know. Again, I don't quite remember where exactly Choggle fits in here. I don't know. But yeah, then we have the best part of the chapter is the dragon showing up for Yona, which is good. We've not had some Yona Dragons content, since I started reviewing the series. I actually don't remember when that last was. We had a whole flashback arc in the middle there, and so it's great to just see them all again. Leading to the comedic highlight of the chapter is who does the Thunder Beast belong to, and everyone just silently stares at Yona. And then the chapter just kind of stops. You know, for you to receive so much even though you're not the king, how unfair, and then to be continued. So I don't really know where that's going. I don't know. I'm curious to see how Mei-Nyan fits to the narrative from here, because I definitely think she's going to be important. I just don't yet know how important she's going to be, and I can't wait for us to find out about that. So I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, you know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And remember, life is your own, okay? Bye!